Hello, I'm Ailsa Wood. I'm reading from The Little I Knew, my translation of Chiara Valerio's Chi dice e chi tace, published by Foundry Editions. The girls got out of the car and ran off without saying goodbye to us. My mother, standing in the doorway, hugged them and smiled at me, lifting her chin as if to say, "Don't worry." Luigi started up the car before I could regret it, or change my mind about accepting the invitation to spend a weekend on Ponza in a house overlooking the port. The ferry crossing from Formia was pleasant, and Friday afternoon was hot and humid, and the air was heavy on Saturday and Sunday morning before we left, as if it might rain, but it didn't. We walked, ate, and swam. Luigi didn't. He said the water was cold, although that wasn't true. He just preferred to listen to the chatter sitting at one of the tables at the bar in the port. On Sunday evening, when we got home, I put the girls to bed, flicked through the afternoon edition of Il Golfo, the photocopied bulletin for the two parishes, and smoked a cigarette. If I didn't see the news of Vittoria's death, it was because I don't read the obituaries and property ads before going to bed. On Monday morning, while I was in my office trying to persuade the ironmonger and his wife not to sue after their son had come off worst in a fight, my secretary, Christina, came into the room to tell me there was a woman on the phone insisting on speaking to me. I stood up and excused myself to get some privacy. It was Mara. "Vittoria died yesterday morning," she said, in a flat, calm tone, a courtesy call. "I know she liked you, and you liked her. She'd called their other friends too. Couldn't think of anything to ask her. I thought of myself alive in Ponza while Vittoria was dying in Scauri." "An accident," Mara explained. "An accident in the bath," she repeated, her voice faltering after every syllable. I assured her I would go and see her, and without thanking me, she said, "She's here at home. The funeral's the day after tomorrow," before ending the call. I went back into the office and carried on talking to the ironmonger and his wife, keeping my eyes on the keyhole, which occasionally appeared in the door behind their heads, which were bobbing back and forth in the heat of their story. He was almost shouting. He seemed to have taken it badly that his son had been beaten up. "Leia, that lad threw a bottle at it, and thank God it didn't hit him in the head. It would have killed him. But it just grazed him, see? Ricardo's not a chicken, so he went over and punched him, and the other lad dodged, head-butted him, and broke his nose. It wasn't an accident." "It wasn't an accident," repeated Anna, the boy's mother. "You have to stop this kind of behaviour while you can," she added, turning around suddenly, annoyed, perhaps to see what I was staring at past her head. An accident in the bath, I thought, and I saw Vittoria again, with her swaying walk, her intense eyes neither night nor dark, the pale blue sleeveless linen dress she wore. I saw her walking along the pavement, stopping in front of a shop window and shaking her head. Whatever she felt about the objects she saw there, I never knew. She used to enjoy talking about things you couldn't or shouldn't laugh at. People who cheated on each other. People who built two family vaults at the top of the cemetery. People who tripped over. Wheelchair users blocked by architectural barriers. Can you imagine? Nothing but barriers, for sure. I knew that bathtub she died in. I'd been to Vittoria's house many times. You couldn't miss it, because the front door, which gave onto a long corridor, was opposite the bathroom, and at the far end there was the bath, under a window, with yellow and green panes, an irregular checkered pattern of squares and triangles, while the floor and walls were shiny black tiles. The house had been renovated in the early 70s when Vittoria moved to Scauri to live with Mara. We all knew that bathtub, and of course we'd noticed it because of the black tiles. So Enrico told me, anyway. I'd asked him about it for some reason, perhaps when we had the work done on our house. Enrico supplied bathroom fittings and tiles across the Pontino area beyond Fondi, and he was my husband's uncle. I was sure no one had ever lived in that house before, as far as I could remember. Since Vittoria had come, it was always open. You came in through the garden, and there'd be a cheery atmosphere on the patio, People chatting, dogs chasing each other, cats jumping on the tables and sharpening their claws on the trees. There was a peacock too, Patrick. From the first time I went there, that's what it was always like, for me and for everyone else. Because before they even finished sorting out the house, they had a party for Mara's birthday. I wasn't there. I was told about it. Everyone had talked about it. A little building with a few fancy flourishes, but run down, ground floor and first floor, with a lovely entrance, in Via Romanelli, and a little garden that had flourished over 20 years. Vittoria knew about herbs. She read about gardens and walked a lot. She could walk as far as the Redeemer, where the statue of Christ was. Reading about gardens was very unusual too, according to the bookshop where Vittoria ordered her manuals. Unusual in the sense of strange. After all, we had vegetable patches and flower beds. Gardens were for posh people's houses, or belonged to the council. General Novelist villa had a garden, and so did the municipal villa, a public garden with merry-go-rounds behind the Sayonara ice cream shop. When they arrived, no one asked too many questions, perhaps because no one realized they were going to stay. Vittoria started working in the pharmacy. Mara opened a cat and dog boarding and grooming business before anyone else had thought of it. I don't even know whether it was a legal business or what its tax situation was, but lots of people went there out of curiosity or because sooner or later everyone needs someone to look after their cat or dog for a few days. So I dropped in myself in December 1974.